All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. And this episode, we're going to call it Hot Boxing with Nikki. We're gonna be virtually passing a virtual blunt between each other, just like you saw. If for those of you who are Cypress Hill fans, Be Real would have a podcast in his car. I think he's still doing it, and they would smoke weed while they do it. So we're gonna do a virtual hot boxing with Nikki. So Nikki, what's going on? What's up?
Hello, thank you for inviting me to your virtual hot box. The stoner from Oregon. Yeah, thank you for having me on here.
Cool. Quick introduction for those who are listening who may not know you.
Oh, yes. My name is Nikki Alapur. I'm a real estate agent in Portland, Oregon. I service Portland metro area. I've been an agent for about 5 years now. And I've been part of what was Modern Success and now Distinguished Agent for about a few years now, I believe. I've been following you for a long time. Business has been great, and it's been getting better every year. And happy to be here with you.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. Nikki is a person who I've always said is like one of those stars that's about to burst, like in a positive way, right? I've worked with her closely, right? We've done events, and she's come to like California for events that I've done and stuff like that. And she was always the one where it's like, man, a couple small tweaks, taking off, right? And from what I've observed the last like year or two, especially, she's really made the adjustments she's needed to make and grown to really start having the success that she's having. Because I think it might have been like a reel that you posted where like people put the music and stuff, and you put like all these properties that you had sold recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. So I want to start with that because Nikki's obviously in real estate, and she's kind of found her niche, and she's in Oregon, and she's doing well. Right out of the gate, let's start with that. Right out of the gate, did you start having success in real estate right away, or was that like a challenge for you, like your first 12 to 24 months in the business?
I think it's for sure a challenge, but it was a challenge I took on. I got inspired to get into real estate, and right when I got introduced to real estate, I went on YouTube and did some research to see, to get some information and find some other people who were doing well in it. And so I immersed in the topic and learned as much as I could. And my first transaction was about 6 months in. So I did about a handful of transactions the first year, which was pretty well. And I have been doubling it every year since. So it was a challenge, but there's all the tools in place, and I could say I took advantage of the tools, and it helped me tremendously.
Awesome. What were some of those things that were challenges for you specifically? If there was like one or two things that you really had to tweak that led to you having that type of growth, what were they?
Yeah, I have a pretty small circle, and getting into real estate, I didn't even know how I was going to find my first client, where the hell I was going to start. There's so many realtors out there. And so figuring out how to get clients and how to bring them value was something that I had to learn. And so I totally just went all in on trying to figure that out. So that was my biggest challenge, but I overcame it pretty quickly.
Nice. Did you, and I'm assuming when you started, it was just traditional real estate. You were just finding regular clients to help buy and sell, like 100% regular traditional real estate agent?
Yeah, well, not exactly. I got inspired to get into real estate because of an investor who I knew. And so because of that investor, I sort of had the investor outlook on it, and also helping retail clients, like regular buyers and sellers who want to buy a home to live in it and make it their forever home. But I also have been working with investors and developers and builders. So finding those sort of projects, as well as helping families get into their home, has been something that I've been working on.
Awesome. And today in 2022, are you still primarily focused on more investor angle and types of deals, or would you say it's like a healthy mix, or what would you say the percentages between investing and retail?
I would say it's a pretty healthy mix.
Yeah.
It's been, I have a great team, and they're helping me with, doing showings and making sure I'm taken care of with all the clients who are wanting to move into their home, like families and whatnot. And as far as the investors go, I'm still working with them and finding deals. So I do a lot of off-market searching, and I'm working on getting into investing myself in the near future.
Nice. So out of the two, I would assume that the investing side always interested you more and you like it more, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Was there something about it that piqued your interest more that you really liked on the investing side as opposed to retail?
I think there's a little bit less emotion involved with the investment side of things. It's very straightforward, very direct. I like the who I'm working with. There's like no emotion involved, so it's mostly just business and knowing what they like and being able to like what the investors need and being able to find that and learning what's a good value. That's I like that, and I also like the negotiation aspect of things with the investment side. So I've been drawn to the investment world, and I'm also looking to be an investor myself. So that's probably a big reason why. So yeah, got a little off topic there.
I know, it's all good. Have you dabbled at all in wholesaling?
Yes, I have.
Cool, because that seems to be like a super hot topic now. I get DMs still now and a half for the last like year or two, like every day. Hey, do you wholesale? Like, what is it about? Can you share your experience with it? Because I mean, I get so many questions about it, and
Yeah.
I answer them, but I'm sure they would like to hear it from somebody else other than me.
Yeah. So with the off market prospecting, there are some houses that I would say are not best suited for the retail market. Like they don't want to put their property on the MLS for some reason. They don't want to list it. They just want a quick, easy transaction. Maybe it's a hoarder house. Maybe it's a house that's falling apart and it just needs a cash buyer to do something with it. And finding those, so like you connect with the investors and being able to find those properties and know that you're helping this seller get a fast transaction, but also finding a project for an investor who could then do something with that property. And with that, they give jobs to other people, so like so much comes out of one project, one house. And so for me, it's really fulfilling being able to get a transaction done, get the seller what they need, give the investor a project, and create a bunch of jobs for other people, and then have a beautiful brand new home for a family to move into.
That's awesome. That's a cool way of looking at it, because you don't really hear that normally.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm a little weird.
It's all good. I expected that. You're from Oregon, so most people from Oregon are pretty weird. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and I brought it up before we went live, is like the whole social media aspect, right? Before we get into any details or specifics about social media, is that something that you like embrace from the beginning in regards to like sharing your real estate journey or finding leads through it or attracting business, or has that always been kind of like a work in progress for you?
Definitely a work in progress. I was definitely inspired by you to post my social media stuff. Still not consistent with it, but I posted a few times, and I posted a couple of videos of me cold calling on TikTok, and got a couple of views on that. And
that's Nikki's "I'm being modest" face. A couple of views.
It's really not that big of a deal.
That's funny.
But yeah, so trying to be a little bit more active on social media.
You brought up TikTok, right? Why do you think, because we can talk about it, why do you think you've had like, because I went on the other day, I think you and Austin were live, and I was like, man, I think there was like a couple hundred people on the live. I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't know that she was like balling like that on TikTok. Apparently she's like the cold calling queen on TikTok and has like all these followers and has all these views. Because I was going through, and some of your videos, like your cold calling videos, have a ton of views, right?
I mean, yeah, it has some views. I mean, there's people who have a ton more, but it's gotten some good views. A few of them like 500,000 views or something.
500,000, yeah, like it's nothing. Yeah, just 500 is nothing. And here's a better question for you. From the comments you're getting and the feedback and the interaction on TikTok, is it what people perceive it to be? Is it a bunch of 10-year-olds messaging you about nothing or just commenting, or is there legitimately people like our age, older, younger? Like, is it a healthy demographic, or is it all little kids?
Oh, it's absolutely healthy. I have a ton of realtors on my TikTok, on my friends list now, and they seem to be following me. Friends list, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I have a ton of realtors following me and business men and women and whatever. And so there's the people who are commenting are people who are genuinely trying to figure out how to better themselves in their business. Realtors trying to brush up on their cold calling skills and learn how to do investing and wholesaling. So it's people who genuinely seem to want to learn and they ask real questions. I get real feedback and it's good. They ask me about my coaching program. If I offer anything, I don't. I tell them that I'm part of your program, so just to join yours, because just go to the source. But yeah.
I appreciate that. So you brought up cold calling, which is like the arch nemesis for most realtors. Is that something you do regularly and that you enjoy?
When I do it regularly, business starts booming, and then the key is to not get comfortable and stop, you know? So I could work on my consistency. But when I am being consistent and doing well with cold calling, I mean, it pays well for me.
So you would agree that everybody has like a different meter when it comes to comfort, right? Like for some people, if they get 2 or 3 deals, it's comfort. For other people, it's 20 deals under contract that makes them comfortable, right?
True.
What have you been doing actively to kind of work on that to combat getting comfortable and making sure that you're more consistent with these types of things?
If I'm understanding correctly, I have a goal set for myself. So how much I want to make by the end of the year. And, you know, I have to make deals based on that. And if it's like, and depending on what my goal is, I just have to make that many transactions to be able to meet my goal or do more.
Is money a big driving factor for you, Nikki, or no?
You know, money is always great. Of course, I want to be able to live with as little limitations and restrictions as possible. I want to enjoy my life as much as I can. And I don't want money to be a factor. So I'm hoping to be able to make more money.
Cool. What were some of the things that you would put on that list of like things that are really important to you or like a priority?
Being able to enjoy my time with my family, with friends, I want to be able to just kind of be free with my time. So have that freedom to do whatever, explore the world and be able to give back to people and help however I can. And sometimes that requires, most of the time that requires money to be able to contribute and to do things. So it would be nice to not have that limitation.
Right. And I tell a lot of people that like it's a means to an end. Like people think that just because you're going to make money that you become this like money greedy or hoarding person that only cares about money. It's like, nah, just like you heard Nikki describe, it gives you like the freedom to explore what you want to explore. Everybody has their passions and their interests and that kind of stuff. And a lot of times having more money, even let's forget financial freedom, even just more money allows you more access to that, because most people's enjoyment isn't even revolving around money. I would say like the real priorities and enjoyment, it's, having the freedom to travel, which requires money, but like it's not like if I go stand off of a beautiful hill over there in Oregon and I'm looking at the view, I had to spend money to get there, but it's not like I'm driving a $500,000 car, and having to put gas in it. I'm there to enjoy the view and be in nature. So in the moment, I'm spending minimal money, but the money afforded me the moment, right? And I think a lot of people mess that up. Is that for you? Like if money's not a big important thing to you, did you have issues in the beginning kind of making goals revolving around money to get you to where you're at? Was that a struggle, or was it pretty easy for you to just set the goal and you were off to the races?
Maybe it's just one of my personalities, but part of my personality, but I pretty much set the goal and just went 100 miles with it. Actually at first it did take me, it was a bit of a struggle for me at first, but once you take off, you just go. So, it's a struggle at first, but once I took off, I just went for it.
Absolutely. So you brought up investing earlier, like you want to invest, like what type of stuff are you looking at? Are you going to get a traditional SFR? Are you looking to get, a big building with 12 units? What are you looking at?
Well, to start off, I want to put either buy a house to flip it. So, just to flip, or, the long-term goal is to buy property and hold on to it. And so that's what I'm ultimately hoping to do. Hold on to it and keep it as a rental. for like a senior care home or like a rental of some sort, but holding onto the property and be able to get money out of that is the long-term goal for me.
Nice. How long do you see yourself like transacting like an agent in real estate? For a long time or no?
You know, I haven't thought about that too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe the goal is to be able to have a team that can produce for me or like with me, but I still want to be involved in transactions, maybe my own transactions. But as far as the day-to-day things go, it would be wonderful to have a team that can pretty much do everything. But I'm working on building the skills to be able to pass all that knowledge on down to another agent. But yeah, long term, it would be nice to not have to be out making transactions like I'm doing now.
Very cool. Is there anything you're doing here in the near future? Any events, any projects, or anything that you want to announce now that we're on the podcast?
Any events, any projects? No, not exactly. I'm just working on my own business and just working on building my sphere and connecting with more people, more agents around the United States, and yeah, and maybe down the road I'll be able to have some sort of a program or something for my TikTokers so that they can get some tips on cold calling. But again, go to the source.
Yeah, well, ideally, you know, whether it's Nikki or anyone else, if you want to give back, that's what you got to do, you know. But like anything else, it does require planning, strategy, and then obviously execution. Because, and at what capacity? And I want to ask you this before I continue. Do you already kind of have a small team that you're working with that you've built, or are you like in the beginning stages of building that?
Yeah, I'm at the sort of at the beginning stages of building that. I have a couple people on my team who are helping me with my database and like with the admin side of things, and also a buyer's agent who's able to go out, or like a showing assistant who can go out and show the properties while I'm doing other things.
Nice.
And that takes a lot of time off my shoulders, so I can engage in more money-making activities or lead generating.
Right. So now you're getting a taste. You're getting those preliminary tastes of what it's like to be a leader now. So you're still selling, but now you got to be a leader. And I'm sure you're starting to see very quickly it's much different than just being an agent that's selling, huh?
It is 100%. And there's a lot to learn. And as soon as I stepped into it, I was like, this is different. And it just requires like a different level of yourself. And so I had to step it up in that way and learn to be a leader and a good leader. And also I'm realizing that I really need a system, like a good system in place. I'm going back to all the lectures from what's now Distinguished Agent, and the close of deal lectures are gold. So I've been through the lectures, but I'm going back, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm just like doing a lot of things that kind of filling in the gap, the things that were missing. And I texted you, it was like within like a week or two of implementing the things that I was not doing that I learned from Distinguished Agent, it just quickly, like I got a listing and then more things started happening. So yeah, learning that I need to get a system, tighten up my system, and I'm working on that, and that certainly helps.
How do you see yourself changing as you morph more into that leadership role?
Becoming a better communicator, just becoming a better person, like becoming a better communicator, being better in my business, and learning to bring more value to the people around me, like my clients, and also the people who are working with me.
That's awesome. You know, and that's one thing that I noticed early on was like, man, it like requires so much more of me. You know, I have to be that example now, and I always have to be sharp. And, you know, not only am I doing what I have to do, I now have to help others and be there for them all the time. So I remember like when all this stuff with COVID hit, everyone around me was like running around freaking out. And I had to be the one like monk, you know, in the team, like, even if I'm freaking out, can't show it. Hey, everything's going to be okay. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to be okay. Then if I want to cry, I got to go cry alone. I can't cry in front of the team. Right. And it really, it reminded me, I was like, man, like, I'm so glad that I built myself for like a moment like this, because that's out of my control. But I know what benefit it is for the team too, to be able to lean on me and be like, yes, this is our leader, and he said everything is going to be okay, so we'll be okay, right? And you're going to start hitting those types of moments, and you may have already, where someone needs something, or maybe you're not having the best day, but you got to step up and be there for your teammates. And those are the moments that I notice as a leader that really stick out in your mind and demonstrate to you the importance of it, and the almost like the coolness of the role of being a leader, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really great point that you make. And I think those are skills that are built over time too. Do you feel like, did that come easy to you? Like learning how to be a leader? I know you've had to do this for a good few years now. And um, it's always interesting to me to like learn how you got to this point.
Yeah. Well, you know, the interesting part is playing basketball for all the years that I played. You know, when I looked at it, when I stepped onto the court, I turned into like a different monster, because, you know, if you talk to people back then off the court, I was very much so like, you know, more of a quiet person, like just to myself. I'd go out and talk to people and stuff, but nowhere near what I am now. Right. Like now, when I show up, I feel like I just beam this light everywhere, and everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? Right. Like, I almost feel like now if I dumb down myself, people are still going to notice me, versus back then it wasn't like that. But when I got on the court, I was on your ass. I would yell, I would take charge. Like, it just, like, the switch went on. So when it came to sales, I didn't have the confidence like I did in basketball to say, I know this shit, I train all the time, like, this is my element. I was like, I'm out of my element now. This is all new to me, sales and all this stuff. So I did have a reference, kind of, but it was completely new in the sense that, okay, now I need to step up in something that I'm unfamiliar with and still be certain and learn all these things. So just like anybody else and what you're going to go through, you know, I had no idea either, but I knew, hey, you know, I have to commit to this process, and this is a necessary step to grow and get to where it is that I want to go. And just like the reference you gave with the, you know, investment side, you know, you help a ton of people on the way, because now you bring other team members on, you help them build, you help them grow. Now they have a family, and everybody benefits from it. But no, I mean, it definitely wasn't easy. And I've made my fair share of mistakes too. You know, like when I look back, even initially just in California, I think from all the people that I hired, I let go half or more of them, you know? So even I was making mistakes hiring people and bringing them on. More than half, meaning more than 50% of the people that I brought on, I had to let go, right? Or they just ended up, you know, because maybe there was a misstep, I didn't interview them correctly, right? But then that brought forth new understandings of my interview process and how I'm going to go for my personal team, like here. So I learned from it in the end, but I made so many mistakes. But the difference was I learned from them, and I didn't just look at it and throw in the towel and say, I'm done. Yeah. I said, you know, I'm in it, right? I'm in it. Like, this is what I'm doing. There's no turning back, and I have to figure this thing out. And the interesting part about being a leader, and this I would say is the coolest and also the harshest part about it, is when you make mistakes or you do those things, unless you have like a group or someone to really fall back on and go to, like a mentor or somebody like that, you're alone. Yeah. And for a lot of people, those are very tough and dark times, because you look around and you feel like you're alone in a room, and you're like, man, this sucks. I have to figure this out on my own, right? And those are very, very tough moments, but necessary, because that's what I believe separates the big players in the game and everybody else who just quits. Kind of like, you know, our industry in general, where 90% fail and leave, and only 10% stay.
That's powerful, BC.
Absolutely. So we're going to do an update interview, probably in 6 months or a year, to see if you're thriving as a leader, which I assume she is. And she'll be like, oh, I took over all of Oregon, and, you know, we're #1 in Portland and all that fun stuff. Cool. So we'll wrap up like this. Obviously, thanks for coming on. Do you want to drop your, whatever you want, your website, your team name, your TikTok, whatever you want people to find you and message you on?
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook would be best, and you can find pretty much all my contact info through there. So my Instagram handle is nikki.realtor, and I think that's the same thing for my TikTok too, actually. So yeah, just find me through there and hit me up.
Cool. Yeah, just text me after this the handles, and then I'll put them on the description so people can click them.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Cool. All right, Nikki. Thank you.
We'll
give a shout out to Oregon again for bringing Nikki on. But yeah, if you guys want to support, leave a thumbs up, leave us a review too, because I know we're on Spotify and iTunes. You know, I don't understand all that technology shit. Just give us 5 stars and give us a good review. Follow her on TikTok. Go watch her cold calling videos, and please let me know if she's any good.
Thanks, BC. Appreciate
Cool.
you.
All right, guys. See ya.